Hey everybody, it's Chase with American Vintage Adventures again, and today I am here to talk to you about something that most theme park vloggers seem to never talk about, and that is who do they watch? Which vloggers, if any, do they watch on YouTube? Are they fans of the content of other vloggers, of things like that, or do they just do this as a job and because they like the parks? Whatever it is, it seems to be a subject that most vloggers don't talk about. Well, today I am here to talk to you about which vloggers I watch and why. And we're going to have just a little fun adventure. I'm going to explain to you as a vlogger myself and as someone who makes films, all the different reasons why I may or may not watch vloggers, or which vloggers I may or may not watch, and how often I watch them. So come with me. We're going to have a little fun adventure, and hopefully maybe you'll get exposed to a few new vloggers here today, or maybe you and I share a lot of the common interest in things that we like to watch, or maybe things that we don't watch so much. But come with me. I got you. Let's go do this. All right, well, first of all, when we talk about vloggers, I'm kind of going to keep this. I watch other things on YouTube as well, but I'm going to mostly keep this to, like travel, Disney, Universal, theme park, cruise, content like that, because that's what you mostly come to my channel for. That's what I do, and I'm going to let you know who I watch when it comes to that kind of stuff. So to get you started, I think the first vlogger that I started watching when it came to Disney, Universal type content was Molly. But it was back when she was with All Ears, and she had just started with All Ears when I started watching the content. Now, why did I start watching the content? Because I was planning trips to Disney World. I also am a bit of a Disney historian. I have an undergrad degree in history, and I wrote one of my senior thesis. I had two thesis papers I had to write, and one was on the international history of Coca-Cola, and one was on Walt Disney and Disney parks and their effect on America and the history of America. So you're talking about a 50-page paper that I had to write. And so I learned quite a lot about Disney and the Disney parks, and Walt Disney, who is one of my heroes. So I've always been interested in the parks. I've always gone to the parks. Growing up in Georgia, we went most of the time. When I got older, we went once a year, once we could afford it. And since I've been grown, I go all the time. So I wanted all the secrets to plan the best vacation. So I actually stumbled upon it one day when I was doing cardio at the gym. Molly I think she had only done a few videos with All Ears, and I started watching her pretty much exclusively. I didn't look for anyone else. And then I guess about 2 years ago or so, 2-3 years ago, I found the next vlogger that I watch a lot, and that is Nate, Paging Mr. Morrow. They're very different, and we're going to get into some of that in a minute, but I found Nate, it was like a recommended video, and I found him and started watching him, and he's very different than Molly, but we don't always want to watch the same thing all the time. And I think that's where there's room for tons of theme park vloggers, because different personalities, different takes, different points of view, different age ranges, different family experiences, all that kind of shapes our content in different ways. So you watch one person for a little bit of this, one person for a little bit of that, and you like them and watch them for different reasons. Well, Nate just puts me in a good mood. He just seems like a really good guy. He seems to really enjoy himself, and like me, he does this as he started doing this as something to make him feel better and make him happy too, not just to do it for you, but to make himself happy. And that channels through to me in his videos, and that's why I started watching Nate. The next one that I started watching a little over a year ago, and that is the Pew 2. Well, they do pretty much exclusively, they started to do some Disney lately, but they started to do Universal. I started watching them more when I got my Universal annual pass. So it's nice to have seen them kind of grow to where they are now. They do things a little bit different. They spend more time cinematically, and we'll get into that in a minute. But they're a couple, and so that's a little bit of different dynamic, and it's at Universal mostly, so that's something different, and I enjoy their content. Recently, I've started to watch a little bit of Super Enthused with Jackie. She, again, offers a little something different, and she seems very positive most of the time. I enjoy that. And then, I watch Kevin Heimbach sometimes, and again, his is very different than the others. And I enjoy his stuff. And, there are others. Occasionally I'll watch Rick's Flicks. I'm not as much into watching live streams. And he does a lot of that, but he is a little bit older age bracket. And, I don't think I'm quite as old as him. I'm 43, if you were wondering. But I do have that Generation X Zennial perspective, so I get some of his jokes and references sometimes. So I enjoy watching his a little bit. And recently, just like in the past week or two, I've watched one or two of PC Devs, and those were pretty good. So that is like mostly who I watch. We are going to get into why I watch them now. All right, so let's start with the first one that I started with. Let's start with Molly of Mammoth Club now. She left All Ears. She's come over and established her brand. She was able to establish her brand herself. She was the biggest asset, in my opinion, for All Ears. And she was able to establish her brand, while being employed by All Ears, which is an awesome way to build a brand. So you build that brand while you're working for All Ears, and then you were able to, congratulations to her and Alan and Duckfist, Max, all them, to Molly, to bring that over and start her own brand. It takes courage anytime to leave a paycheck to go out on your own. Now, she was fortunate because she was able to build her brand over here, and she built a good loyal fan base, and they followed her over to Mammoth Club. And I really enjoy Molly. Molly is very polished on camera, from someone who has spent a lot of time on camera myself and filming other people, actors and whatever, on camera. She's very polished on camera. She reminds me a little bit of, like, she could do an infomercial that they could play on loop at Disney. And she's a wealth of knowledge. She was a cast member. Alan was a cast member. So she's a wealth of knowledge on Disney. And I enjoy watching her. Mammoth Club has been built up over this past year or so, and I followed them right over there to watch it. And I also enjoy when her and Alan do videos together. And I enjoy Alan. I like having a guy's perspective on things sometimes too. But they branch out more, doing more different things now. But I still think their bread and butter is when Molly goes to the park and does things like her secrets and things like that. Because I think a lot of the core base still really loves to hear Molly. And sometimes when you get a group of people, it can get distracting, and we'll talk about that later. But I think her and Alan really work well together when they do those videos, and it's fun to see the banter back and forth. I know some people have criticized and said, oh, it's scripted and whatever. It's up to you whether you think that or not, or whether you like that or not. I don't know if they script anything. I really don't. I personally never script anything. I have an idea of what I'm going to film, and I do my research if I need to talk about it, and just whatever I talk about is whatever I talk about, just like now. I have no idea what I'm going to say next. But I love watching Molly, and I enjoy when her and Alan are together. I'd be interested to see Alan do a video on his own. I really would be interested to see him do a video on his own and see what it would be like to see him do a video by himself. I think that would be very interesting. So, Molly, Mammoth Club, Alan, if you're listening, I want you to put the work to Alan and get him out there and do a video by himself. I'd like to see what that looks like. But I love them, enjoy watching them a lot. So, like when Molly's doing a video, by herself, and it seems like super informative and everything else, even though it's still fun. And then when she's with Alan, it's a whole different vibe. And then when you have three people, when Duckfist joins them, it's still another vibe. And you can get three different vibes. Some people like one thing, some people like the other. I enjoy when her and Alan kind of go at each other a little bit. I don't care if it's scripted or not, really. I mean, do I prefer scripted? Not so much, because it can kind of be offside of your personality a little bit. But I don't know that there's a scripted. I've heard people say that. If it is, they're doing a damn good job of selling it that it's not. So I don't care. I like this recent video they did with the randomizer. I love the reactions. I don't know if it was pre-planned or not, but it's funny to watch, and I enjoy it. I really do. Rish's favorite is Molly's secrets, like when she goes and gives you all the information. So that's the point, though, to give something for everyone. Next is Mr. Morrow, Nate. Nate is, like I said, he's just an awesome guy. He puts me in a great mood. I love watching Nate. Now here lately, Nate has gotten super popular and super busy. I remember when I started watching Nate, I remember before he got 100,000 subscribers, and he did the 100,000 subscriber, celebration for that, and then a 200,000, and now he's like around 250,000. So his popularity keeps growing. But with that, he's had some other opportunities with Roosevelt's, and a lot more opportunities to travel and do other things. And I do enjoy that. I enjoy watching that stuff, and I love the Roosevelt shirts and everything. But for me, the bread and butter there is just classic Nate at Disney World by himself, maybe Disneyland, occasionally Universal. By himself. You get his full personality, no distractions. That jovial, good-natured feeling comes through a lot when he's by himself. But I will say that Nate, more than any other, I give a lot of respect to Nate, because he didn't pull the ladder up once he got to the top. Nate has all his friends in so many videos. He will tell anyone, this is my friend, follow their channel, I'll put the link. I think he puts most of his stuff as Creative Commons. He's happy for anyone to use it. He is definitely the description of a person who reaches a hand down to help those who are where he was, versus pulling up the ladder and saying, I don't want that competition. I'm not going to put you out there. And I love him for that. He hasn't done anything like that for me. I don't care. He doesn't need to do anything like that for me. I see him doing it for his friends who have their channels, and I've watched their channels grow the more they're on videos with him. And I just think that is awesome of him. It really, really is. It costs nothing to be a nice person and help people. So I really love that about him. It's just in his nature. But that being said, he has a lot of these travel videos to other places and with a crowd of people and things like that. And I love them, and I'll check out their stuff and everything else. But the core of what draws me in, and that we watch in this house, my kids and Risha and everything, we watch Nate because of him. So like I love Like in this video, you'll see, I think this was his Christmas video last year. It just bubbles over with Nate. It really does. It really bubbles over with Nate. And like he's eating the cookies, and it's just he's so genuine, and it comes through, and I love it. All right, that brings us to the Pew 2. Now the Pew 2 are very different. They mostly do Universal. And Universal, taking it from me, who also vlogs Universal, Universal's a harder park to vlog because you can't film on most of the rides unless you get media invites, and they're not inviting American Vintage Adventures quite yet. You can't film inside the HHN houses. You don't get access to the tastings of food and like all this kind of stuff. So it's hard. And they do a good job with it. Their videos are a lot shorter on average. That if there's one thing for me, and some people may like that. For me, that one's a little bit of a drawback, because as soon as I'm really into it, they're like, it's over. And now I've got to find another video to get into. But that goes back to, it's a harder park to vlog, and they have great cinematic shots usually. God bless Tyler for carrying a big camera around. I tried to carry my big filmmaking camera around to HHN, and I'm not sure any of the footage is usable because I just got so tired of carrying it around. I prefer my little 4K vlog cameras and stuff like that for when I'm filming in the parks. I've had a lifetime of shooting special cinematic shots, and I don't really want to carry a heavy camera around all the time to do that, but bless him, he does it with that big lens and everything, and a lot of the stuff looks great. I've heard people knock on them for seemingly spending too much time setting up shots and setting up jokes or whatever. Who cares? Everybody is something for something different. I don't know how long they spend setting up shots. I don't do that. I don't tend to set up jokes or whatever, but if you're watching me and then them, then you get something different, and that's the whole point. I personally love the cinematic shots that they do. They could also be on like the way Stacy used to be at Disney with the circle through. That's the kind of quality of shots that they're doing, and I think it's awesome. Maybe it's not for you. If that part of it's not for you, enjoy another part of their stuff that you like, or come find me, or I try to do a mix of everything, because that's just what I do. I have a lot of experience in filmmaking, so I do a lot of different things, and that's the whole point. But I enjoy them. They have a wealth of knowledge when it comes to Universal. That's their first love, as my screen goes blank over here and makes me blue for a second. Universal is their first love, and that's what they spend a lot of time doing. I laugh a little bit when I see them do Disney World, and I enjoy it for a different reason, because they're like lost in there, and they're still learning their way through Disney World. And I'm like, man, I can't imagine trying to vlog it and not know, and trying to learn it at the same time. So I give them credit for trying to do that. And their HHN content here, their HHN content was great. Some of the shots, I'm going to show you some of this stuff right here as I'm talking. Some of the shots that they got in the Halloween Horror Nights houses were just beautiful, fantastic. And I really enjoy them. You look at these shots, they're awesome. And then they're fun. They have their little banter back and forth. Anna is high energy, and Tyler's kind of the other side of it. So they got like a yin and yang going a little bit. I'm more even killed with, small ebbs and flows. I don't get way up here and then way down here. I'm in the middle. But again, now you've got something for everybody, because he's here and she's here, and enjoy it. So I enjoy watching them, and I enjoy seeing their channel grow. The ones that I found more recently are Kevin Heimbach and Jackie at Super Enthused. Jackie does a lot of the things that a lot of the other vloggers do. She just has a little bit different perspective on it, and sometimes maybe she'll film something in a little bit different way. Her videos are maybe not as slickly edited, but you know what? That doesn't matter. Nate doesn't spend a whole lot of time making his videos or his thumbnails very slick edited, because he doesn't have to, because it's just his personality, and he's not into doing that. I'm into making mine look a little bit better, but also not like I'm trying to make a movie. I want it to feel like you guys are with me on my adventures, and you're seeing what I'm kind of seeing, and I'm enjoying it with you, versus always just showing it to you, or always just telling it to you. I feel like there's a good balance there, and that's what I try to do. But Jackie, I'm enjoying her content so far. And then Kevin Heimbach, I just found him going back before Halloween Horror Nights. I found him for HHN stuff. His stuff's very different. He cut it like his stuff. It cuts around, jumps around. It's real fast. But he does fun stuff like go out to stores and show Halloween stuff. It's different fun stuff. He offers you a little bit of different things. He gives you, I feel like maybe in some ways, he might be the most honest of the ones that I watch, as far as giving you his opinion on things. I watched him, I think, spit out food at the HHN tasting because it was bad. Maybe Kevin, that might have been too far. Maybe that's why they were pissed and didn't give you the media thing. But he gives you his honest opinion, and I like that. And you can tell he's genuinely a fan of this stuff, and I enjoy that, because I'm genuinely a fan, and I try to have you experience it with me and through my eyes. The way I do things is I try to make it feel like you are with me, and we're talking about it back and forth, and I'm kind of pointing things out to you and stuff like that. And I feel like he's a lot of fun to watch. In the same vein, his stuff jumps around. It's not slickly edited. You can hear like the cuts in the audio. Who cares? Everything is different for everybody, and I enjoy watching him. Is there anybody I don't enjoy watching? If I don't enjoy watching them, I'm not going to watch them. I got to meet Quincy with All Ears back at Disneyland earlier this year. It was both of our first trips out there. I met her. She was as nice as she could be. But I don't get into All Ears anymore. I feel like All Ears now is like a group. It's just not for me. I feel like it's for a younger group. It feels like they're having a good time. That I will give them. It feels like they're having a good time, and it's just a group of friends going out having a good time at the park. They come up with crazy, wild stuff, but every now and then I'll watch one, but that's not like appointment viewing for me. I'm not looking for when their new video drops necessarily. It's no knock. It's just it's different strokes for different folks. And I've just started watching PC Dev. Some of his stuff, yes, is for me, and I enjoy it. Some stuff not. Like I'm not so much into, like, I like Rick's Flicks. I met him at the park recently, but I'm not into live streams, and I'm not really into like just following people around through their normal days at home and things like that. So it's, like I said, different strokes for different folks. One thing none of my favorite vloggers have that I watch all the time, none of them have perspective as a parent on these parks. And that's something I try to bring, because not only do I go solo a lot or a couple a lot, I take my kids a lot. And I think you have a whole different perspective when you can cover all three of those things, like when you can go as couples, when you can go solo, and when you can take a family and see how things are with your family. And I think that's something that's missing through almost everybody that I love to watch. I don't really see that a lot, which is funny to me, because a lot of people watch these that have families and they're trying to plan family vacations. So I try to also make sure that I cover things from a parent standpoint sometimes, and I'll put my kids in it and let you know what they think of stuff and how things were for them, because I don't feel like that's something that's served with most anyone. I know, like Tim Tracker, I've never, to be honest, I watch very little of his stuff. I've started to watch a little bit more, and I think he did put, I don't know if he puts his kids in very much, but like, again, he'll do a lot of like the lifestyle, like today we're doing this at my house, and I don't watch a ton of that kind of stuff. But again, that's the whole point of there being a lot of room for a lot of vloggers, is to offer something different. There's millions upon millions of people with YouTube accounts, and they're all looking for a little taste of something different. And it should be room for all of us, and for everybody to enjoy everything and help each other out. That's the way I wish that the vlog community was more like a team and became more like a team. I know there's some smaller vloggers out there that are coming up just like me, who are trying to build their channels. I know like Horror Fiends did they covered HHN well. So did Brian from Orlando. There are people like that are still trying to build their channels up. And then, I watch things outside of the Disney theme parks. I have a friend who has done movies with me. He just started a channel, Video Goulash, and he covers candles. Like, you talk about niching down, YouTube will tell you to niche down. He covers like reviewing candles, and thanks to him, now I have a ton of scented candles in my house because he does such a good job with it. So I'm a fan of watching them. I know that some vloggers say they don't watch other vloggers. I don't know if I believe that or not. I really don't. I think everybody watches at least some of everybody else's content. And I enjoy it. There's a lot of other smaller vlog channels that are coming up that I'm probably forgetting to mention that I watch here and there as well. And I enjoy different things for different reasons, but those are my tops. So if you were ever wondering, there is your answer. And feel free to ask me any questions. Let me know in the comments what you like, what you don't like. Tell me what you don't like on my channel. I ran a poll recently, and I found out that everybody's favorite thing to see me do are my resort reviews, my in-depth AVA guides to resorts. And not surprisingly, all my resort videos have thousands of views, more than a lot of my other videos. It's hard to just do resorts all the time, but I got tons of comments of people saying, you do resort reviews better than anyone. And that made me feel great. It also has made me try to start scheduling more resort reviews to do for you guys. So tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me who you watch. Give me your top 3 or 3 to 5 vloggers down in the comments and let me know. And to everybody I mentioned in the video, I love you all. And I wish you nothing but success. And thank you for helping to inspire me and for the enjoyment I have watching. When I am at home and I can't be at the parks. I can only get down there every few weeks or so from Georgia. So I live through you the rest of the time. And of course, live through editing my videos, which if you guys do that, takes a hot minute. But thank you so much. And until next time, this is Chase with American Vintage Adventures saying have a great AVA day, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.